let's call this meeting to order. This is the Planning and Zoning Board meeting, regular meeting, November 10th at 6:00 p.m. So this meeting is now in order. So the first thing we need to do is do a roll call. And I will call your name and just signify by saying aye that you are present. Nicole Northrup.
Aye.
Field Scarborough.
Aye.
Hal Goodman.
Aye.
And Jamie Daniels.
Aye.
And me, the chair. We're all present and we have a quorum. Let's see. So the next order of business is to
Catch my
adopt.
black notebook.
Can you hear me all right?
Yep.
Nicole, can you hear me? You are
Yes.
just like a little
Yes.
tiny person on my.
Perfectly clear. Yes.
Okay, very well. All right. So we need to adopt the agenda. Are there any modifications or changes to the agenda as presented?
I'll make a motion to adopt the agenda as presented.
Hal Goodman is the motioner. Do we have a seconder to the motion?
I'll second
that.
That's Nicole Northrup is the seconder. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 I think that's everybody, and aye for me as well. That is an adoption of the agenda unanimously. The next thing on our agenda is the approval of the minutes. As of October 13th, 2020, the minutes have been distributed. Are there any modifications, changes to those minutes? Any modifications?
I would like to make a modification. It states in here that I was concerned about another cut into the highway and the availability to get in and out. I wasn't concerned about another, but I am concerned about the availability to get in and out. I know over the years, traffic going in and out of there's been a sheriff's deputy there at 8 o'clock in the morning and one there at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, somewhere about those times. And that's how people got in and out. It'd be very difficult. I think they should have an entranceway, like I said at the last meeting, either side, adjoined to the back. I'm not opposed to one cut in there, but I think it's going to create more problems.
Fields, could you please tell me what page you are reading from?
Page 2.
Okay, page 2. All right, and that would be down toward the end, correct? The end of the page? Oh, no, I see. Member Scarborough was concerned about more traffic entering onto Highway 64. So, can that be captured, Michelle, what Fields said?
But you were concerned about the ability to get in and out?
Yes, ma'am.
Fields, is that appropriate?
That's good enough.
Okay, that works.
Got that, Michelle? Sounds good. Anybody else? Anybody else out there that might have any other modification?
Oh,
I'll make a motion to adopt the minutes as modified.
Pal, excuse me. I actually did have one. I was just waiting to find out if anybody else. And mine is just a typo on page 3. And the typo is Chairman Wickstrom asked for clarified that we do not need to change the code for the earmarked parking. It's just a typo. It should say asked for clarification that we do not need to change the code for the earmarked parking. We could just have an agreement that at some point, if we needed it, then we could do it. That's just a typo. All right. Hal, would you like to go back and since there are a couple modifications?
Make a motion to accept the minutes as modified.
Okay, we have a motioner to accept the minutes from October 13th. as modified. Do we have a seconder?
I'll
I'll
say.
make-
And that was Fields. Any other discussion at all? Nope. All those in favor signify by saying aye. You can just shout it out or raise your hand.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, that's unanimous. That was a unanimous approval of the minutes of October 13th. So the next item on the agenda is our public comment period. We do have a standard language that we read. I would like to ask though, do we have people who have dialed in other than the planning board?
Madam Chair, there are 5 attendees on the call.
Okay, very well. I will then read the public comment so that anyone who wishes to speak. So members of the public are invited to address the planning board. Public comment is not intended to require the board to answer any impromptu questions or to take any action on items brought up during the public comment period. Speakers will address all the comments to the board as a whole and not one individual member. Discussions between speakers and members of the audience will not be allowed. Time limits are 3 minutes per person or 5 minutes per group. Please identify yourself so that your statements can be recorded. I can't see if anybody has anything they wish to say. Can you see that, Melissa?
Madam Chair, currently there are no hands raised. As a reminder, please hit *9 if you would like to make a comment and raise your hand.
And we can identify you by the last 4 digits of your phone number. Is there anyone out there who wishes? There is someone. All right, very well.
Madam Chair, the phone number ending in 2261, their hand is raised.
All right, whoever has 2261, you are live. Please make your comments. I think you're muted, however. There you go.
Hello,
Could you please identify yourself?
my name is Ebony Selby.
Selby, thank you. Do you have comments you would like to make this evening?
Just one. I'm wondering about the west side of Fernando Street. That road is very terrible, and I saw a lot of roads being fixed throughout the towns, and it is within the town limits, but it was not at all touched, and I just wanted to bring attention to that.
Madam Chair, we can't hear you. If you can move a little closer.
All right. Better.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so that was Ebony Selby, concerned about the west side of Fernando Street, and wondering if there is a plan for some improvements there, getting something fixed.
I can respond if you would like me to, Madam Chair. Hi, Ebony. It's Melissa Dickerson. I hope you are well. The resurfacing that is happening is actually a DOT contract. And I do not know if Fernando Street is on that schedule or not, but I'm happy to check and I can follow up with you directly on Thursday when we're back in the office and I'm able to get in touch with DOT, if that's okay.
She's muted.
Yes, Ebony is muted. Ebony, have you, were you able to catch that from our planner, Dickerson?
Somebody's got to unmute her. There you go.
Hello.
Okay.
Yes, I did. Thank you, Melissa. That will be wonderful.
Great. I'll be back in touch.
Thank you.
For your comments. Really appreciate it.
Certainly.
Do we have anyone else out there who might have a public comment during this open comment period? If you can press star 9, and then we can identify the last 4 digits of your phone number. We have one more.
Madam Chair, this phone number is ending in 5140.
Very well. We have someone else who wishes to speak for the public comment period, and she or he is muted. And the phone number is 5140. We are working on getting you. There you are. 5140. Could you please identify yourself? Um, 5140, the last 4 digits of your phone number. Could you identify yourself if you wish to speak publicly? Did you have your hand raised? We just don't want to miss you if you need to make a comment or have come in to this meeting remotely and wanting to make a comment.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, could you please identify yourself?
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon, everyone. This is George Corker, the Executive Director of Dare Minority Coalition. Yes, I had a question about the town city limits for as the public sewage line that is actually connected into the main drive that actually extends to Burnside across from the Head Start. Is there a way to have that extended to the connection through Scarborough Street to the connection to Kellogg's?
Melissa, would you have anything to say to that? We can take that down as a concern, and certainly we have your phone number and can get back to you. The staff can get back to you. Melissa Dickerson would be happy to do that.
Okay, thank you.
Here, I would.
Okay, thank you, George. Really appreciate your calling in. Do we have anyone else who would like to make a comment during this public comment period? Star 9, we'll identify you by the last 4 digits of your phone number. Anybody else? Okay, it looks like we have had 2 participants in our public comment period. We are closing that portion of our business this evening. Thank you both for calling in. Our next order of business is under new business, and it is new business A, and it's the review and recommendation to the Board of Commissioners for zoning text amendment, Article 8-B-2, General Business District / Section 8-5, Conditional Uses Permitted, and it's the supplementary uses. And we need to review that and have a discussion. So I would like to turn this over to Melissa. She has, I see the request up the zoning text amendment application on the screen. Melissa, would you have an opportunity to share with us?
Yes, Madam Chair. I'm sorry. When I share my screen, my controls aren't up, so then I had to. I've stayed muted so that you all don't hear the fun that is being had
behind you.
right now. We received this application for a zoning text amendment to allow walk-up ATMs And so it seems pretty simple. So I know that you all have some thoughts to share, as do I. The proposal is to put a walk-up ATM in the parking lot of, of Chesley Mall. And so I have a picture of a similar ATM, what I believe is a walk-up ATM that I can share with you all, so you get an idea of a visual. If I can figure out, here we go. Oh, not that. Share screen. Here we go. So this would be something similar to what would be located in the southern portion of Chesley Mall's parking lot. So I had some thoughts about this and just about an application, such application in general. My thoughts, I'm not exactly sure the best way this would interact with our flood damage prevention ordinance, since this similar one is built on slab on grade. But that was the first concern that I had. I'll let you all have a discussion about it, and then if you know there are particular questions for me or comments, we can certainly capture those. But the text amendment is to allow this use as a conditional use.
Okay, thank you. Well, we can have a discussion. I just, I see Hal has his hand raised. You know, I will tell you truly, I can barely see Nicole and Fields. So you both will, oh, there we go. Well, it's still tough, but just shout it out if you want to say something, and we'll get you in the order that you've shouted out or raised your hand. I did see Hal has some comments that he would like to enter into our discussion this evening. Hal, would you like to?
Jerry, I do too, after Hal.
Thank you. Nicole, we'll get you in.
Yeah, Sherry, my concern to a standalone ATM like that, I think there's two issues. One is if we allow that, they may be popping up all over town, and they're not exactly the most pleasant things to look at. The other issue is safety. You have it over in some dark corner of the parking lot. People are going in there at night, you know, they become an easy target if somebody decides they want to do something nasty. So I think if they want to go with an ATM, they really need to have it attached to a building or in a protected area, you know, in a lobby somewhere on the side of a building, as opposed to just being out in the open like that.
So your concerns are aesthetics and safety.
Correct.
Yes. All right, Nicole, you are next.
As someone who goes in there a lot, it's traffic flow. I can't imagine how they would fit an ATM in that parking lot. The traffic flow is already kind of difficult getting in and out, and they're just, that parking lot is much larger and the traffic flow is difficult already. I think it would just impede traffic flow and cut down on very limited parking that Chesley also has right now.
Thank you so much for those comments. Some of my own concerns as well. Jamie or Fields, do you have any comments?
I do. Yes, I'd like to go next.
Please.
First of all, can you hear me okay?
I can hear you.
Okay, good. Yeah, it just echo what you said. Safety and aesthetics will be an issue. As far as adding it as a conditional use, I don't see a problem with that. It'd come down to the site plan approval. You know, would it receive site plan approval, Melissa?
It would receive, yeah, the full process of a conditional use permit. So it would go to the planning board. Adjacent property owners would be notified. It would be to the Board of Commissioners for approval of that conditional use permit.
So as a conditional use, then we could add the concerns that we had. You know, if we wanted additional planning or lighting or where it went, those types of things, we could put those in the conditional use. So yeah, so as a conditional use, I don't have a problem adding it to the list of conditional uses in the B2 district, but definitely some concerns, just as Hal said, about safety and aesthetics. Thank you.
Thank you, Jamie. Fields, I don't want to put you on the spot or anything. I just don't want to miss you if you needed to say something.
I don't need to say anything. I agree with everything you said.
Yes. Very well. I think we're all on the same page on this. I am very worried about the possibility of this being here. There's also other considerations like, you know, having, you know, papers flying around, you know, from deposit slips or whatever. I mean, it could be an eyesore. Plus, you know, we talk about the Manteo way of building, and this is certainly not an aesthetically, it doesn't fit into our environment. So that also concerned me. So it looks like this evening, what is your pleasure? Well, first of all, I should ask Melissa if you have anything else you'd like to add or say about this.
So Madam Chair, tonight, you all would just be making a recommendation to the Board of Commissioners for approval or not of this zoning text amendment application.
So what is the pleasure of the planning board? It sounds like you aren't interested in this particular model. I mean, should we table it and see if they can come back with something else, or is that not appropriate?
So you all will later see the application if this zoning text amendment were approved. So the text amendment needs to be approved to even have the application get to the table. So that at that time then would be appropriate to have conversations about designs and such. But if you all have some guidance that you want included in this, it would certainly be appropriate to note some concerns in your motion that you'd be sending to the board.
All right, then. What is the pleasure of the board? I see Hal.
I agree with Jamie. I mean, I have no problem with an ATM. I just have a problem with a standalone ATM like that. Like I said, if they want to mount it, excuse me, on a building, or if they put it inside the lobby of a building where you'd have weatherproof access to it, you know, we wouldn't even need to rule on that because it would be an interior. But, you know, I just have an issue with the standalone, but if, you know, if it's a conditional use and they would have to come before the board to get a site plan approved, I mean, that's where we could say, no, that doesn't fit.
So you're okay with approving that the zoning text amendment?
ATMs, but, you know, not necessarily this type.
All right. Is there a motion that anyone would like to put forward?
May I ask a question before we go forward?
Sure.
If we approve this, are you all satisfied with what you're opening yourselves up for? I mean, is that, it's just hard for me to imagine a lot of places in Manteo right now where a walk-up ATM would fit. One in a building like we already have, I could see with what we have, but I really can't see, we don't have very many locations that I can think of where a standalone would really, I mean, we're a little town.
Can I answer that question with another question to Melissa? Is wouldn't this have to be built above base flood? Which means if it's in that parking lot, it would have to have about 6 or 8 steps going up to it. It would have to be the same height as the store up front. It's about, yeah, it would have to have, yeah, be pretty high actually.
And then would require a ramp for ADA access.
Yeah, then you're talking about it taking up a half a dozen parking spaces.
Yes.
Hal, I'm having trouble hearing you for some reason. I don't know if it's just me, but you sound garbled. Does anyone else have trouble hearing?
Yeah, what I had said was if we have, if you've got the problem with the standalone, if you've got to have it above base flood elevation and you've got to have ADA access, now you're talking about eating up probably six at the minimum 6 parking places.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was kind of answering in Nicole's question is, yeah, I just don't see like the picture we're looking at right now, like besides not liking it, I don't think it's feasible to be built here. I mean, I don't think it's not possible to be built here because of flood elevation and other issues.
Good point.
Yeah, that
Really?
goes back to what I was saying.
Yeah.
An ATM's fine, but a standalone ATM, I just don't see it fitting in or even working.
That's what we'd be approving as a walk-up.
Right. Does anyone have a motion? A very good points, everyone. And so our opportunities are to approve or deny.
I'm going to make a motion to deny it.
I'll second it.
So we've got a motioner, Nicole Northrup. Her motion is to deny the zoning text amendment application. And I believe we have a seconder, and that was Field Scarborough.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Is there any other discussion? All right. Oh.
Yeah, I was just going to say, not to beat a dead horse, but again, I don't have a problem with the idea of a standalone ATM in the B2 district. You know, if it was on the school campus, which is right across the street, or somewhere else that it would fit. But like I say, I think what we have in our mind is where they want this specific one. And we're not voting on this one, we're voting on the idea of them. And so, yeah, I'm not in favor of what we're sort of like seeing here, but again, as far as having them in B2, I don't see a problem with.
Got you. I think Melissa could probably take that message back. Was that a nod?
Yes.
It was, yes.
Thumbs up. All right.
Basically, the issue is we're all opposed to a standalone ATM, but especially in a parking lot somewhere. But if it's attached to a building or done some other way, it might work. But the flood problem is another major issue with it, because it's really going to eat up a lot of space if you have to have ADA access and have it high enough to be out of the flood zone.
So it is specific to this particular ATM, these comments.
And that's what I was saying, is I think the issues that everyone's going to have will be done when we at the site plan review. So
Right.
Sort of in agreement, sort of not in agreement.
Well, I think there is a motion and a second on the floor, and so
I'm done talking.
No. Are there any other?
No,
You are
I'm
not.
done.
Don't ever be done talking. Are there any other comments? Anybody else wish to weigh in? I mean, I think we have talked about this, but anybody else want to make their point?
If not, Madam Chair, I just have one clarifying question, is that the motion is to recommend to the Board of Commissioners denial.
Recommend to deny. Correct.
Yes.
So, yep, that is a recommendation, is to deny. So that's what we have as a motion. That's what we have as a second. We do need to take a vote call. If you could signify by saying aye, raising your hand, that would be helpful. Those in favor of this motion signify by saying aye.
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 Fields.
I was waiting for Hal. I'll vote for it. I'll go with the group.
I'll go with it.
Okay, that looks unanimous to me. If I've missed something, please let me know. Okay, So the planning board recommendation is to deny with specifics, as we talked about. All right, very well. So now we go to new business, and this is under B. This is a discussion and consideration of a zoning permit application for 500 North Highway 64 to add an apartment to a building that is currently existing, which operates both a real estate business and a creamery. So the zoning permit is to modify an existing building for an apartment. So Melissa, could we get any information from you? That I know you have other things to add to this.
Yes, so Mr. Zatoli, who I believe is on the call, when I checked earlier, he was there. He operates his real estate business and the Old Town Creamery out of this building, which used to be a single family residence many years ago. So his plan is to not add to the footprint, but to change around some of the existing current uses in the building to add a 1-bedroom apartment. So Fred, our building inspector, has made an on-site visit with Mr. Zatoli. He has provided this zoning permit application that includes the plans. And it is to you all for approval of this zoning permit application. Mr. Zatoli understands, and I think that this is probably going to be a point that will be raised by Member Goodman, but he does understand that there is some required fire separation that will need to be achieved in between the two uses. So, and that was something that Fred had explained, and I know that it was a concern raised to me earlier today. So I don't know if there are any other questions that you all might have that I can answer. I'd be happy to do that at this time.
Thank you, Melissa. I have one question, and this may be evident to others and not me. How does one access that apartment?
There's a back door on the
So,
rear there into the living room.
oh, I see. And thus the concern about fire. So there's one way in, right?
Right. Now, the real issue with fire is I'd just question the economic feasibility. That's a small 1-bedroom apartment. And you have to have 2-hour fire separation between the retail space, the office space, and the residential living space. So that would require the wall between the kitchen and the office bathroom and the wall between the office bathroom and the bedroom to be done as 2-hour fire separation walls, which with wood frame construction gets to be pretty expensive. It requires 2 layers of the type X fire rated sheetrock on each side of the wall, as well as special insulation in between the studs in the wall. And it's a pretty expensive modification. And, you know, I don't want to speak for the applicant, but, you know, probably take a long time to recover those costs for the amount of rent that you'd be able to charge for that space. I mean, I have no problem with creating the apartment, but I just think it's something that should be looked at before you dive too far into that.
Okay, thank you, Hal. Anybody else have a question or a comment Melissa can help us with, or just a discussion, further discussion?
I do.
Jamie.
So going back a little bit, this was a residence, and it was like a home office residence. Then it's turned into commercial property. Now he wants to turn it. We're basically just asking. He wants to turn it into a mixed use. Is that right, Melissa? It'd be commercial and residential.
That's
So
correct.
that's the only question here. So, yeah, I don't have any problem with that. The only question I had was about the parking requirements. Does this change the parking requirements or the sewer calculations?
Yes.
Does he, I mean, he's met all that. He has additional whatever parking he needs for all the businesses and the residents.
For the parking, it's sufficient. I know, the Old Town Creamery, many of the patrons park along, like in the parallel parking spaces. But yes, and then, there would be, a cost for that added bedroom according to the town's, utility ordinance.
Okay, well, it's a right now it's an ice cream shop, but it's a commercial space, so he could do actually it's permitted as a restaurant, isn't it? So he could do like anything there as long as he met those requirements. Yeah,
Okay.
I guess I'd be in favor of it.
Nicole or Fields, any comments?
I think we should just see if it can, he doesn't even know if he can do these things. I think that we kind of are looking for mixed use. We're looking to try to get affordable housing in. And I think Fred will determine whether he can go any further. You know, how do you feel about that?
I'm okay with it, but it looks like it needs a lot of work.
Yeah,
whole lot
he
of
may
work.
not, it may be determined that he can't do it anyway.
And for clarification, to your point, Member Northrup, in order for Fred to be able to issue a building permit, we will need to have this zoning permit approved. So this zoning permit gets approved. This is how the process would go. The zoning permit gets approved by you all, and then Fred would receive a building permit application with an engineer certifying in those plans that that fire separation can be achieved. And then Fred, if it meets the standards of the building code, Fred would issue the building permit. And so that's kind of the process would unfold.
So tonight we are just looking at the zoning permit to go any further into the process.
Which
And,
would be to allow that residential use in the mixed use at this address.
Mixed use is a very common type of use. And I mean, it makes a lot of sense to me to use that. I mean, it's an old kind of standard where you have a storefront on the ground floor and then apartments up above, and that happens all over Manteo. So to me, this seems like a reasonable thing to ask. So anyway, does anyone have any other any other comments?
If everyone's satisfied, I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve.
There you go, Jamie.
I'll second that.
Okay, Jamie Daniels is the motioner to approve the zoning permit application. Hal Goodman is the seconder on that. Are there any other comments, any other discussion at all before we move to the vote? Okay, those in favor of accepting the two motions, the first and second, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
So I heard
Aye.
Hal, I heard Jamie,
Aye.
Fields.
Aye.
Okay, that is a unanimous pass of the motion. Great. Okay. So the next order of business is really, it's just old business. And it's for information. As you all remember, after the last planning board meeting, or at the last planning board meeting, some members were concerned about the the building. I wouldn't say concerned, but had some questions about the COA building. So one thing I did want to let everybody know is that Park did have an opportunity to review the architectural drawings, and I think that meeting went about 3 hours. So it was a very thorough meeting with folks actually on site looking at the drawings. There was a positive reaction to the drawings that had been created by Boomerang, and I don't know if you all have seen those. And many folks on Park felt that it was appropriate. There was an opportunity for us to capture the perspectives of the park members. There are 7 park members, and Melissa has that list of the park recommendation to the planning board. So Melissa, would you like to step in and go through those?
Yes, Madam Chair. So I am sharing my screen so you all can see these as well. Park met on November the 2nd. They had 11 comments, and they began by noting appreciation to review the project. They talked about how exciting it is for it to be front and center in the town of Manteo, and that the demolition process went very well. There was a need noted of prioritizing connecting the campus to downtown Manteo with a walking path. I noted for the members of Park that that is also something that has been mentioned by the town's Board of Commissioners and mayor. So moving on, there was a concern noted regarding the traffic on Fernando Street, and a suggestion was made of 2-way traffic on Fernando west of Upawak Avenue, so that north exit you would be able to make a left-hand turn out of. There was an interest in future planning of the campus, how additional buildings might be sited. I noted for the committee that at this point, there are not active plans or active site plan for additional buildings, even though we know they will come in the future. Those aren't included on the site plan at this point. They noted that the orientation of the building seemed appropriate. And number 8, upon review of the exterior materials, Park noted a preference for the ash panel versus the pearl panel. Number 9, the committee noted preference for the roof support structures that appear dark to be lighter than what appears in the rendering. Number 10, it was noted that the exterior materials blend well with the surrounding environment and are soft. And number 11, the committee appreciates the exterior changes to the professional arts building to complement the new academic building.
Yes, I felt that the meeting was very positive from folks, and people had given it a lot of thought, about fitting into the Manteo way of building. And so anyway, it was a very good meeting. Now, these recommendations from Park, I think, Melissa, have gone to
They've been shared with the
county
county manager.
So there is no, these are suggestions. There's no requirement to change anything on the building. But there still is, I wouldn't say wiggle room, but there still is a process to follow. And so we will be having another meeting, I think in December, or is it November? Melissa, you would know.
We don't have a date for that meeting yet, to my knowledge, but the county will be meeting again with the architect to review that ash panel that was noted by Park. That material was not one of the sample materials that they had available, so we understand that they will be bringing that back for the county and COA to consider. So there, right now we are head deep, I guess I should say, in technical review. I am in contact with either the architect or the engineer almost every day at this point. I think I noted for you all that I had some concerns about the lighting plan, and I think it was Friday, spent about an hour on the phone with their lighting architect. So he is working on making those changes. And if we get all of the plans along in a timely manner, it will be on your December agenda. We anticipate that it will, but until those changes are made, for instance, like the lighting plan, right now it is not compliant with the ordinance. So until I get that back, it won't be to you for approval quite yet.
Did the planning board get the code comparison sheet that you had created?
I thought I sent it around to everyone, and actually, to clarify, the architect created that, but if you all, I think I sent it to you, but it would have been a few weeks ago. So if you all have not seen it, I'd be happy to send it around again.
That was very helpful. It was very helpful. It was very helpful to the park board. So this was the process that we followed because I think there were concerns raised, and the idea of getting another perspective of a committee that really spends a lot of time on the architectural detail. So that's what we came up with. Anyway, this is really for information, but is anybody interested in commenting?
Yeah, Madam Chair, I was one person who did raise some concerns last week. Now that they got the old building down, I spent like a month going by 2 or 3 times a day looking at that site and trying to picture the new building. And I feel like I could really see it now. And I couldn't be happier with it now. I mean, I think it's going to be great. And so.
Thank you, Jamie.
I'm ready to move forward.
I'm glad that you had the time to kind of place it there, especially with all your experience of working with the Manteo Wave building and everything. I'm really glad you've had a time to look at that and think about it.
I started picturing it on the site, not just like kind of freestanding on a piece of paper, but just how it fit with the town and way it kind of combines. I'm trying to show my hands downtown and uptown there. There's a whole lot I like about it. A few maybe details I might change if it was up to me, but it's not. So I'm excited to see it.
Anybody else have a comment? No one else? Okay. Well then, it looks like we're at that point in the meeting where this is number 7, board member comments. Let's see, can I just go down the list? Nicole, do you have any comments you would like to make this evening for the record?
No comments tonight.
No comments tonight. All right, Fields?
No, ma'am.
Nothing you wanted to say? Hal?
No, I'm good this month.
You're good tonight. Well, great. And Jamie, you're good?
I said enough.
All right, very well. Well, seeing that everybody seems to be very happy this evening, how about if we have a motion to adjourn?
I will move to adjourn the meeting.
We have Hal as the motioner and a seconder. Anybody?
I'll go ahead and make the second.
And that's Jamie. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. That is unanimous, and this planning board meeting is officially closed.